Greetings, YouTube. Today I want to talk about HDMI cable, specifically one from Harbor Freight. This is a 12-foot Harbor Freight, and it costs $12 to get a 12-foot HDMI cable. Now, this is nothing special. It's a cable that lets you hook up two devices that require an HDMI cable to meet your to make those connections. And I'm currently hooking up my laptop to my television. Lets me stream things through my laptop because the television's got a much, of course, obviously a bigger picture and better sound than my laptop does. And I really liked having the ability to do that. And when I finally decided I wanted to do that, I had recently purchased a refurbished laptop because my Chromebook didn't really have that option because it didn't have an HDMI cable, not to mention you couldn't hook up a external hard drive to a Chromebook. Yeah, and then of course Chrome just is an evil corporation, and I decided I want nothing to do with them anymore. So I am completely switched over to Firefox. I use Firefox here. I use Firefox there. I use Firefox everywhere. But now that I have a laptop that has an HDMI port, and my television does, bingo, making a connection, super easy to stream. But I didn't want to have to sit with the laptop in front of the television or within very close proximity, and the only HDMI cable I had in my house was 3 feet long. So not going to mate what I needed, so I wanted something that would allow me to sit with the computer next to me and be able to watch the screen across the room, which means I needed a minimum of like 9 or 10 feet. 12 works perfect. I did some searching online when I decided I needed to get a larger cable, and lots of places were offering 3-foot and 6-foots, and a couple of them were offering 10-foots, but they were offering them for a lot of money. It was like the minimum I think I found was like $24. And then I just happened to hop upon the fact that Harbor Freight carries them. I just never thought to look at Harbor Freight. I buy stuff from Harbor Freight all the time. I've got, consumables like saw blades and drill bits and, gloves and things like that, as well as more durable goods like actual tools. And for the most part, I've been quite happy with what Harbor Freight sells. Sometimes, I've upgraded. Adam Savage once wisely said, if you don't know if you need a tool, buy the cheapest you can get. And for most of it, that's going to be Harbor Freight. And if you find yourself using it more than once a month or so, go out and get yourself the best quality one you can afford. And it's good advice. If you only find yourself using a tool, 2 or 3 times a year, the Harbor Freight tool is probably going to cut that for the next decade. But if you find yourself using a tool every week, yeah, it's going to be worth your time going to get something better. But I never thought to look for electronic cables at Harbor Freight. I've gotten lighting there. In fact, my entire shop is lit with LED lights that I purchased from Harbor Freight. I got nice bright shop. I'm very happy with it. I've got floodlight everywhere now. But I never thought about cables for electronic, entertainment devices. Just never occurred to me to look there. So I contacted my wife and said, hey, they've got the cables that we need. Can you swing by and pick one up on the way home today? And she did. And now I have hooked up my laptop to my television without an issue. Now, people are going to say, well, they're not going to be the same quality. Well, here's the thing. Does the cable transmit electrons? If the answer to that question is yes, you're good to go. If the answer to that question is no, you have a broken cable. So don't listen to people who tell you about the durability or the perfection of the signal. No, as long as the cable doesn't break on you, you're good. As long as it's transmitting electrons from one point to the other point, that's all a cable has to do. Now, I will admit that sometimes having a braided cable is kind of cool. I like the appearance. I got a braided cable right here. I happen to really like that one. It's just a, what is this one? Is this a special one? Oh yeah, this is for my, I have this one for my hooking up things to my phone. So that's a C connection, little tiny one. I use that for hooking things up so I can transfer files. But so yeah, real happy with this cable does exactly what I need to do. Dirt cheap, buck a foot. You can't go wrong there. So think of Harbor Freight the next time you may need some cables for your electronic entertainment devices, because they may have what you need at a much better price than you're going to find any place else in your brick and mortar world. And they're everywhere. Harbor Freight stores are all over the place. There was no place within a physical distance of me that had the table I needed except for Harbor. Everyone else that was offering those cables was offering them online. That wasn't what I needed. I needed an HDMI cable today, and my wife found one today because I was lucked out and found that Harbor Freight carries them. So give them a try for 12 bucks. How can you lose?